Okay, everybody, let's finish up chapter 3. There's just a couple of slides left from this. And I do want to remind you to go back and look at the questions on slide 44 about the different carrying capacities in human population. But, this chapter's case study was all about what was happening in Hawaii. And so where the Aki bird lives, a lot of that area had been converted into ranches, and that's now being restored back to forest using native plants. The invasive plants that were there are being removed, and again, they're planting native ones. The animals are actually being protected, and new populations are being established. So as these habitats get restored, they're trying to reintroduce new populations there. I mentioned to you that one of the things they had to do is to sort of round up all the invasive cats. And not only cats, there are a lot of invasive species in Hawaii, including several snakes and goats and pigs and all kinds of things. And so trying to get a handle on these invasive organisms has been a long-term effort. And so all across Hawaii, people are protecting the land, they're restoring their native habitats, and they're protecting the areas that are offshore as well. One of the ways that some of this work is being funded is through ecotourism. So tourists visit these protected areas. Hawaii's residents are benefiting from their conservation efforts. They are getting money from the tourism that's happening, and tourists want to go see these wild, beautiful places and see these native organisms. And so that's all working out really, really well. Ecotourism is a really good way financially for local areas and people to be able to make some income off the land that has been set aside for conservation. Climate change is this big kind of overarching unknown question. It is threatening conservation biology efforts. Some of the areas that have been set aside in the past, not just in Hawaii, but in other places, those areas are changing their temperatures, and that can impact a lot of things from the plants that live there to the animals that are supposed to live there. Those areas that are being protected may become very unsuitable. And so the species that have been saved there for a long time, that might not work. They may have to be relocated. Scientists and managers really need to come up with really good ways to help save declining populations. And maybe one of those ways is going to be using some of the genetic things that you saw today when heard about when we were talking about de-extinction. Maybe that's what we're going to have to use is better technology to help save these populations. So we really don't know overall how these organisms are going to respond to climate change long term, but we know that it takes a long time through natural selection for organisms to be able to adapt. And so hopefully, if everybody does the right thing, we can slow down climate change a little bit. That will give a lot of these species enough time to be able to adapt. All right, so that's the end of chapter 3, and I'll see everybody next class. All right, thank you. Bye.